Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy, and I'm back in the building. And I mean, I'm really back in the building, and it took a long time for me to get back here. You know what I'm saying? I had a busy, super duper busy couple of days. And we're going to talk about all of it right now. Let's get popping. Make sure you get those tickets, ladies and gentlemen, because opening night is just a couple, but 2 months away. Got less than 16 left. So make sure you get those tickets right now. Big shouts out to you, man. I'm glad to be back in the building, back in the studio. It's been a minute. Seems like it's been forever. But I'm here now. We chilling. Already got somebody calling into the video chat. I'm sure people are anxious and ready to get back up in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to my man, City for Real. Says, Sim, you on the road to 10K. As soon as you get the merch up, I'm getting the bucket hat. Facts. Keep up the good work, bro. Appreciate you, City for Real. I'm definitely going to get those bucket hats up. You know what I'm saying? I'm working with my man. I got a homeboy that I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? Mogul Talk Apparel. I'm working with my man to get these things ready. You can check out Mogul Talk on Instagram. Go check them out. Got some fly gear up there. You know what I mean? But I got my man Isaiah in the chat. I got some words for Isaiah too. So I'm going to get this man up over here. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about Taj Gibson, Dennis Smith Jr., Julius Randle. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We'll talk a little bit about the video shoot that I did. We had a good time. Tony Crow was there. Mark was there. My man Chester, he was there hooping with us. And when you guys see this video's not going to be done till like early October. But when you guys see this video, man, it's going to be super duper dope. Trust me. It's going to be super duper dope. Big shout out to Distant Moon Media. Distant Moon Media, man. My man Ian from Distant Moon Media. He got it going on, man. He was doing his thing out there. You know, shout out to Guermo. Guermo came through. And my man Mark got some words for Guermo. If you haven't seen the little video, you know, the kind of promo for the for the commercial that we were shooting, Tony and Guermo were talking about Mark a little bit. Mark hit me earlier today. It was like, yeah, I got some words for them dudes. So we're gonna see how that's going down, man. But let me see what's up with Isaiah, man. Big head Isaiah didn't come through, didn't make it through. You know what I mean? Said he got the email late. See, that's what happens when you're Isaiah. You don't check your email on time. But anyway, let's talk to my man. Let me see what's popping with this brother, man. Once again, make sure you make your deposits. Make those deposits, ladies and gentlemen, because the tickets are going fast. And Isaiah, give me a second. Let me get my headphones on. All right, Isaiah, what's good, bro? Hey, yo, Isaiah, can you hear me? This man is sitting here watching a movie and he can't hear me. No, he's not watching the movie. He's watching the video, but he can't hear me. Isn't that just like Isaiah? You know what I mean? Well, you know, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to tell you. Isaiah, can you hear me? Mr. Isaiah? I guess not. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Isaiah can't hear me. I guess Isaiah's watching the little video. I guess, you know, he'll come around sooner or later. Let's see who else is here. Mark. Hey, Mark, what's good? Can you hear me? Maybe it's me. Mark, can you hear me? And maybe it's me, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's me. Mark.
Mr. Isaiah.
So I guess it's me, because I guess Mark can't hear me either. So we'll get that taken care of. All right. In the meantime, I'm gonna open the phone lines up early. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna open up the phone lines once again. Make sure you get your NBK, your opening night tickets, ladies and gentlemen. Get your opening night tickets. But I'm gonna open up the phone lines early. I'm gonna figure out. Listen, I've been away for so long. You know, man, I had to hook everything back up and get everything back going. So, you know, who knows? Because I've been away for so long. All right. But hey, can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Guess they can't hear me. But anyway, give me a call, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you. 516-405-2246. And we're going to get the sound working with these guys. I'm opening the lines up early so we can talk about the New York Knicks and what's going on with these brothers, man. Taj Gibson. I want to talk about Taj Gibson a little bit and what he's going to mean to this New York Knicks team. You know, Taj Gibson, he's made some comments in the New York Post and things. Nothing disparaging. You know, he's made some comments just kind of talking about, you know, how he can bring a winning mentality to this team. How he has he's always been in a winning program. Right? Always been in a winning program. And I think that's important. I think that's very important because that's the truth. Taj Gibson's always been in a winning program. Can he help bring that mentality to this team? You know, that's the question. I think that he can. I think Taj Gibson is a pro's pro. You know, he's the kind of guy that can help lead this group. You know what I'm saying? He understands how to win because he's been there. He's been deep in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He's a pro's pro. And I think, you know, Taj Gibson is going to be very, very good for this team. You know what I'm saying? I think Taj Gibson is going to, you know, help some of these young guys mature just a little bit. Tony Crow, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, sir.
What's going on with you, my brother? How you feeling?
What's going on? I'm good. Shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
We had a eventful night, man.
Yeah, man, it was eventful, man. From 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. we was getting busy out there.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I know you're gonna get into that. I'll let you talk it up, but I had a good time. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Definitely appreciate you coming through. And I know Mark said he got a couple words for you and Guermo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mark know I said everything to him when we was together. So
right.
I ain't worried about what Mark said.
Right.
It's all love. I will say this: Mark balled out.
Yeah, Mark was hooping, man. I give it to him. Mark was hooping.
Mark balled out,
man. Mark was hooping.
So,
you know, when we get our little squad together, you know what I mean? Mark's gonna be that first round draft pick. We're gonna put the squad together. We're gonna go out there and hoop, man. He's just got to get in shape. He just got to get in shape. Mark got a little bit of speed on him. You know what I'm saying? He got a little bit of length. It's a little bit deceptive, his length. You know what I mean? Got a little bit of speed on him.
Got a little hustle, too.
Got a little bit of hustle when he's not tired. You know what I mean? But he kept, he was getting tired out there. Said he hadn't played ball in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get that man in shape and ready to go. You know what I mean?
All right. I just want to say something to the chat. If you're not a VIP member yet, sign up. You're missing out.
That's what's up.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's right. Go out there and get that, man, because, you miss out on things like what we was doing this weekend, man.
For sure.
You know what I mean? We had a great time out there. Now, I'm just saying we had a great time, man. We had a great time. VIP members was out there. Guermo, Chester, Mark. You know what I mean?
I just want to say something to the chat.
I do know why these guys is not hearing me right now, and I'm gonna have to take a break. Tony, if you want to take over for 1 second, you're welcome to.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me just speak on Taj real quick.
Yeah, speak on Taj Gibson real quick.
I think him coming on, he could be what Joe Noah was supposed to be. I won't expect much. I don't expect him to start, but I expect him to give good minutes, maybe good 10, 15 minutes. Good mentorship, good defense. He's a slasher. He got a solid jump shot. So yeah. Or if you want to bring it to a discussion that we was having during the weekend with me and Grandma, 90s Knicks style basketball. I could see him filling in that type of role. You know, a solid defender, a guy who's not gonna back down, give a hard foul, knock a dude on his butt. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I like this roster. I really do. They say we're not projected to do that well, but I think we could surprise some guys. I got us just missing the playoffs by a game or two, but that could swing either way, you know. But yeah, sign up for that VIP membership. You're missing out on some perks, and we're about to do some more big things too. I know there's a lot of things in the work with Sim. Channel's been growing.
Yeah, no doubt. It looks like these guys are gonna have to call in, man, because I know why it's not hooked up, but I can't find the piece that I need. But this is what happens, man, when you've been on the road for so long. You got to come home and you can't get everything straight. You know what I'm saying?
Traveling with everything, too.
You know, exactly. I had to take a piece out so I can travel with it. And now I can't find that specific piece, but it's all good. We're going to go ahead and just get it going. So, you know, Mark, I don't know if Mark is listening in. Mark, Isaiah, you guys are going to have to call in. You know what I mean? You guys gonna have to call in right quick and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as Tony is done, you guys can call in and we can get you guys on. But back to Taj Gibson. You know, I feel like Taj Gibson is that piece. Tony, I heard you saying something about Joakim Noah, right? I feel like Taj Gibson is that piece that back when he is the piece that Joakim Noah was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Right? He's the piece that Joakim Noah was supposed to be. Back when, what's his name? Phil Jackson went and got Joakim Noah. You know, when Carmelo and Derrick Rose and all them guys. Joakim Noah was supposed to be that defensive enforcer. I don't know if Taj Gibson is going to be that heavy of a defensive enforcer right now. What is he, 34 years old? You know, but that's what Joakim Noah was supposed to be. I think Joakim Noah came to the Knicks and kind of lost his mind a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't able to. I don't know. Just wasn't able. I guess he couldn't handle it. Like he said, he was too lit for New York City. New York City was too lit for him. Really. You know what I mean? He couldn't handle it. He wasn't ready for it. And then his body broke down on him. Taj Gibson, you know, he's been pretty healthy throughout his career. You know what I mean? He's been basically a consummate pro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's been a consummate pro. He's what I'm trying to find the words. I'm trying to find the words to describe, you know, what I want to say.
He's a throwback player, Sim.
Yep. He's a throwback type of player.
Like,
go ahead.
And you don't I don't know if you don't really see too many people that just. He's basically like the average NBA player, if you will, but like the typical, prototypical NBA player is what you want from your average, your not superstar, a guy who's just gonna come in, do his job, not get in no trouble, work hard. You know what I mean? Like, he does all the right things, but he's just not a superstar. You know?
Right.
But he could play probably 14 years if he wanted to.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he's coming in with the mindset of winning. And he also understands that He's not going to be the starter on the team, right? He's not going to be the guy on. I mean, he's never been the guy on the team. He's always been that role player. He's like a perfect pickup and a perfect guy to be one of the leaders on the team, because he's not going to be expecting to take on, and he doesn't expect to be the main guy. He understands what it is to be a role player. He's probably okay. I'm sure he's okay with coming off the bench because he's done it before in his career. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Taj Gibson to be, you know, one of the guys that's part of a leadership team. Taj Gibson, probably Wayne Ellington. You know, some of these guys to be kind of part of a leadership team. You know, I like the things that I'm hearing from Taj Gibson. He's been wanting to be in New York, right? You know, from what we read, he contacted or what's his name? Who's the guy that coached for Minnesota? Tibbs. Tom Thibodeau contacted him. You know, congratulated him. Told him he was, you know, the exactly what, you know, he's a New York type of player, and said, hey, you know, you finally got what you wanted. He wanted to be in New York, and then of course his father, you know, is very convenient for him to be in New York because his father, you know, just had an operation or whatever it is, and so now, you know, he's able to be close to home and help his father get through whatever he's getting through. So it seems like it's going to be a good fit, a nice fit for Taj Gibson and the Knicks, man. Yeah. So let me get to another phone call. Caller, you're on live with. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping? Hello? I don't know what happened there. Tony, you still there? All right. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Sam.
It was good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, my brother. Another day. We're getting closer to the season. It's about that time. We're going to do what we got to do.
Without a doubt, man. So how you feeling today, man? What you want to talk about?
Well, you know, I heard the brother. I know I heard the topic because I haven't been on in a minute, but I've been listening. But I heard the brother before talking about, you know, Taj Gibson and and what Taj Gibson is going to bring to the franchise and so forth. And you know, he's right that Taj is going to bring what Noah should have brought, you know, but maybe even a bit more looking to not necessarily, you know, dip his feet on the floor all the time and not worry about, you know, all the different talent that's going to be around him, because, you know, I've listened to the show.
Uh-huh.
I've listened to some other people's shows, you know, who are Nick podcasts and stuff like that. And whatever. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of you guys, your enthusiasm is kind of tepid. You know what I mean? I'm not hearing I believe. I think I said it before that this is a 42-45 win team.
Okay.
I think this is a 42-45 win team. I think this team, in this collection of talent with the youth and, you know, the players they brought in, especially, you know, Marcus Morris, Elfridge Payton, you know, big boy from Washington. They got some toughness. They got some roughness, you know, Julius Randle, who we've talked about ad nauseum, Julius Randle, you know, so I believe this team is going to be a dog horse, a real dog horse that people, it's kind of like, I don't want to talk about them like how people talked about how Milwaukee came out of nowhere last night, because obviously we don't have a Greek freak. But going into the season last year, nobody was talking about Milwaukee. Absolutely nobody was talking about Milwaukee. And it's kind of feel like right now with the Knicks. It's like when you hear about with the Knicks, everything is like the butt of jokes. I'm seeing our former player, you know, muscled up, and, you know, that's the talk and whatever. And you know what? Don't talk about us. Let us just come out with this collection of talent Let Fizdale just come out here and coach this team and coach this team with a real philosophy that's going to be what we need going forward.
And what do you think that philosophy is?
It's defense and toughness.
Okay. Now,
it's defense, toughness, and sharing the ball.
All right. Do you think, because we did a little, Tony Crow, Guillermo did a little, we did a little video, and I asked the question, can this team kind of reclaim that 90s basketball feel? Do you think this team can reclaim that basketball field, that 90s basketball field?
I think this team can reclaim it and go even a step further. And when I say a step further, I don't necessarily mean how far they go, because that team had Ewing.
Right.
That team had Ewing. But I'm talking about as far as their style of play. That team's philosophy was two things that Greg Anthony has said on many occasions: we either going to win the fight or we going to win the game. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm feeling
this
that.
Team. This is a whole new NBA. You start fighting, you're getting thrown out of the game.
Right.
But this team could bring, sharing the basketball and being unselfish and not worry about who's playing 30 minutes, who's playing 15. You see what I'm saying? Because the real keys here to this is the backcourt. For me that I'm watching, it's the backcourt. And whether, we don't have a situation where Frank is going to start pouting, because I could tell Frank right now, Frank, unless something happens, you're not running the rock.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Damon Dotson, as well, you're going to have to come in here from a shoulder surgery and come put some real work in, because there's Barrett is getting playing time. You already know that. Well, Barrett's going to get a lot of playing time. You see what I'm saying? So you got, just come in and just work. Put egos aside. Don't worry that there's three guys to a position. Just come in here. Knox, same thing for you. So I'm looking to you. I'm not looking to you more than what I think you should be in your second year, but I want to see growth and improvement in your game.
And so do you think Knox is going to show that improvement? I mean, I think that he is. I like what I'm seeing from Kevin Knox, but obviously it's the off season, and he did some things in, during the summer camp, during the summer league. But do you think that Knox is going to be able to take a step forward?
I think Knox will take a step forward, but it's those nights when Marcus Morris is doing step back threes and killing it. You understand what I'm saying? Is those are the nights that you're gonna have to. It's gonna build your character. You understand? Because you got 10 more years, hopefully, in this league. He's a vet. Some of these guys they brought in as vets outside of Taj. They ballers today.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They real ballers today. So unless you're going to come out here and outball them, you know what I mean? Be a good teammate. You understand what I'm saying? Be a good teammate and let the best players play. And if you're not the best player tonight, doesn't mean you won't be the best player tomorrow night.
Okay, I feel you.
You see what I'm saying? As long as they keep this camaraderie, and as long as they listen to Fizz, and Fizz is pushing them in the right way, push the ball. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to necessarily jack up threes, and you know what I mean? This team of players they got some pieces that can do some things.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And the one thing I heard from you the other night that you was a little unsure about, you got to start Mitch. Money Mitch has got to start. and this is why I say this. You have to set a tone defensively in the middle, and you got to send a tone defensively in the end. So even if Money Mitch is fouling out and whatever, and if he's overly aggressive, I still remember when Ewing and Georgetown played Carolina in the NCAA when John Thompson told him, anything comes to the rim, send it back.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one's going to remember that you had 10 goaltenders, but they're going to remember that they got their shot blocked. So even if you pick up two fouls in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, and you chain 7 shots, that's the goal.
Well, we're going to see if Mitch is going to be able to be that strong. I still think he has a little ways to go before he's that strong. Patrick Ewing didn't come into the NBA till he came out after his junior year. You know what I mean? There's a little bit different there. You know what I mean?
You're right, but I'm talking about just in the mere philosophy of.
I get that.
Let's use that energy. You get 2 fouls, it's fine. 2 fouls is not 5 fouls. You'll be back.
I get that. I mean, listen, I'm all for them. I'm all for them. If they start them, I'm cool with it. I'm not saying don't start them. I'm just saying some things that I see about them. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm just saying some things that I see about him.
But look at him when he first came in last year. The man looked like he could barely talk. He had the worst suit I've ever seen a player coming into the league have. When they talked in the press conference last year, he couldn't get 2 words out. Well, now he has his own. Now he's doing his own show with the team. He's hosting. He's comfortable. He's growing. He looks like a centerpiece that you're gonna have him here for 8 to 10 years. You know what I mean? He can guard the perimeter. He's not there yet physically, but who wants him to put on 40 pounds in one offseason? If he came in here 40, 50 pounds bigger, we all be looking at him like, okay, what did he do?
Yeah, I feel you. We're gonna see what they can do. Hey, I'm gonna let you go so I can try to get some other people in.
Man. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
I appreciate the call, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
All right, brother.
All right, peace. And that Mitch conversation, man. Listen, like I said, there's just some things that I see, and I'm hoping that he proves me wrong. He comes in and he does everything that he needs to do. Mitch Robinson is definitely going to be. I think he's going to be the starting center for years to come. I just think that there's some things that he needs to learn. That's all. I'm not dissing Mitchell Robinson and nothing like that. My man D, Public Enemy, not dissing Mitch. I like Mitchell Robinson. Like I said, I think he's going to be that dude. Got some way. He's got to grow. He's growing, though. He's growing. Caller, you on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Sim?
What's up, my brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. I'm disappointed, man. I'm sorry I couldn't come out, man. I was stuck at work, man. I do apologize that I wanted to come out and hang with you guys a little bit, and I'm proud of you with the commercial, man.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty dope, man. It's definitely going to be pretty dope. You know what I mean? And see, if you would have came out, we was going to have to play one-on-one again. So it's probably good for you that you didn't make it out.
Well, no, it's probably better for you because, the last game I let you win because it was your birthday. I felt bad.
My birthday?
No,
it wasn't my birthday. But anyway. But check this out. You probably would have had a little bit of a chance, though, because I had this, while we were playing, I had this thing around my stomach because I was mic'd up a little bit. So I had this thing around my stomach that, held the mic and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that was kind of, holding my breathing back because it was squeezing my stomach pretty tight.
Hey, man.
So you might have had, maybe you would have scored 3 points or something.
Oh, stop it, man. Look, I'll score 45, 18-6 easily. But that's another conversation for another day.
For another day. Me and Tony was talking about some things that we're getting ready to do. We got a project we're going to start next summer. It's going to be pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, you know I'm going to be part of that, man.
We're planning to go, we're going to go all across New York State from Buffalo to New York City, and we're gonna go in every single hood. Not every single hood, but we're gonna go into a lot of hoods. Find a basketball court where people hoop at. And we're going to talk about that basketball court. Because one of the things that we talked about in the video, not that, yeah, and we're going to see how they edit the video up. I talked about a lot of things, and then they're going to cut some of it, and they're going to keep some of it. So I trust Distant Moon Media that they're going to do a great job with the video. You know what I mean? I have no control over anything because it's not for my channel. It's for another company, which, I guess, we're going to kind of not really talk about them right now. But we talked about a lot of things. And one of the things that I talked about, and me, Mark, Tony, we kind of had a discussion about it too, is that a lot of time and what's televised nationally and what gets all the publicity are the Dykemans and the Rucker Parks and the Drew Leagues and stuff like that. When you talk about playground basketball, not really the Drew League isn't in the playground, but Rucker Park, Dykeman, and, other playgrounds, Berry Farms in D.C., which is shut down now, but that's besides the point. But that, people look and they focus on those when they talk about playground basketball. But the truth behind it is that's really not the playground basketball where people start. That's not where people really develop their love for the game, right? They develop their love for the game on the small little neighborhood basketball courts that's, in the middle of your projects or down the street at the elementary school or the high school or wherever, or just the park. You know what I'm saying? It's those little neighborhood courts where you first develop your love for the game. You know what I'm saying? That's where you develop your love for the game. That's where you become a basketball player. That's where you start developing your basketball manhood or womanhood. And then when you get better, then you start to venture out a little bit and go to different neighborhoods and different boroughs and different basketball courts, right? And then you end up at the Rucker Parks and the Dykemans or wherever your city is, whatever the court is in your city. The biggest court, biggest, most popular court in your city, you end up there if you're good enough. After you've played yourself through the ranks, kind of, that's what ends up happening. You play yourself through the ranks. Everybody puts the spotlight on these bigger courts, but that's where the love of the game really starts. So what we talked about doing is going to, these small cities all across the state, from Western New York all the way to Manhattan, and going in these neighborhoods and doing a little video on those courts, you know what I'm saying, where these kids really develop their love for the game. So that's something that we're gonna do. We're looking at doing next summer, so we're gonna plan it out and stuff. You know what I mean? We may need a couple of goons to come with us. We might need a couple of goons to come with us because we're gonna be going into some neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Well, I ain't going to discuss what I got, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
You said we'll be all right? I hope so, because, we're going to be going into some neighborhoods. Okay. Look, we're going to be going into some neighborhoods with equipment, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to roll with a little, we're going to have a little squad with us, you know what I mean?
Man, give him like 7'4". We got this.
That don't mean he's tough. 7'4" don't mean you tough.
Yeah. Listen, Sam, we will be good. I'm not going to talk about that on our show, but we good. We good.
Yeah, so go ahead, man. What you want to talk about Knicks-wise?
I listened to the caller. I forgot who it was, but God bless his heart. 45 wins, God bless his heart. I'm an optimist. I love the Knicks. I don't see 45 wins. Again, I'm optimist, but 40. I don't. When people spread out like win numbers, I think they forget that they don't put the context of the 45 wins. That means we're doing pretty well. We're beating teams out west. We're beating championship caliber teams. And I don't know, man. It's going to be tough for a young team that's mixed young and old. And, there's a lot of guys trying to play for the next contracts. And it's like, and I'm not, Fitz has a tough job, but it's like 45 wins. Look, in my head, what I thought would be best if everything goes literally right for the Knicks is 40. That would be the max. Everything goes right. I kind of got them in the 30. I got them in the 35, 37 range of wins. I think that would be a successful season for the Knicks. That would be in the right way, trending towards the right way. I don't really see 45 wins. You're beating a lot of good teams to get 45 wins. And I just don't see it. Again, I mean, it's all cool, but to each his own. No knocking on the other person who thinks that. God bless them.
Yeah. Well.
Also too, what happened? Go.
Well, what I was gonna say is, but I think that the Knicks are built to surprise people. In my opinion, the type of team that we have is a team that I believe can overachieve.
Yeah, I think I really have them. Listen, to me, I think that if everything like 40 wins was to me everything going right, and if I overachieve, I say we can be the Clippers from this year. I think that would be the highest ceiling we can go this year is the Clippers from this year.
Well, the Clippers won how many games? How many games did the Clippers win?
I thought the Clippers won like 40.
Yeah, they won like 42, 44 games or something like that. So
they won something like that. I mean, like I said, to me, I mean, my expectation is if everything goes right, it's 40. And, if I'm overachieving, I say maybe 45. I mean, that's that, but I don't really think that because I don't know. It just to me, it would be very hard for the Knicks to go out west and beat a lot of these top tier teams. I just think it would be very hard for them to do that. But, you never know. It's the NBA, everything. All the predictions could be wrong. But also, too, Sam, I just wanted to say one thing before I go. I kind of want to get away from, and we all do it as Knicks fans. We need to. We always have this '90s Knicks thing. We want to go back to the '90s Knicks. Let's stop the '90s Knicks, man. I get it. Listen, it was fun times. We were constantly in the playoffs. We were a good team. Always either a contender or a dark horse contender to win the NBA Finals. But listen, man, it was over, man. Let's try to be something better than the '90s.
So tell me why. Tell me why, though. Tell me why. Why would you not want this team to play that style of basketball?
I mean, you can't. Let's be first of all, let's be real. Let's be realistic. The '90s style of basketball, you can't play. You just
but
the rules won't allow you to play like that.
It doesn't have
now,
to.
If you want the mentality of the '90s Knicks of not taking any crap, yeah, say that. But don't say you want to be. Let's try to be the '90s Knicks. Listen, man, I remember when Ron Artest was on the Knicks for that one year. He said something that stuck out to me. He said, "Listen, everybody wants the Knicks to be the '90s Knicks. That's not going to happen no more. You got to be more intelligent. You got to be smarter than that. You got to be.
But look, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be breaking out in fights and stuff like that. We're talking about the defensive mentality, right? We're talking about the mentality that we're not going to let you come into the Garden and win. We're talking about the toughness. Why would any team not? Hold up. Why would any team not want to have that type of mentality? The toughness. That team was mentally tough. That team, I can remember that team would get down 20 points. And because they were so mentally tough, I didn't have a doubt in my mind that they were going to come back. And when they got when they went up 10, that team, the team they were playing against, they wasn't winning because they were up 10. Because defensively they were tough. They were tough-minded, right? That's what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. Why would you not want that?
We hear it so. I mean, okay, you're trying to make it seem like I don't want that. I do want the Knicks to be a tough-minded team. I want them to defense should be number one. But it's just that we always go back. I feel like and this is how I feel. This is how I feel. I feel like as Knicks fans, we always go back to that. But I think there's always we got to involve. We have to have that mentality, but we have to involve. We can't always go back to the '90s Knicks. I mean, that's like saying. I mean, it's just like saying to other teams, like the Rockets should go back to the We Believe or the Dream team or whatever, like the Olajuwon teams, or the other Portland teams going back to like the '90s Blazers, or the Pistons going back to being the Bad Boys. It's just you just can't do it. Or the Bulls trying to become the '90s Bulls again. It's just all I'm saying is it just I understand the mentality of the '90s Knicks. I will agree that I want that mentality, but let's just stop saying that. Let's be the '90s Knicks. We got to go back to being the '90s Knicks. No, man, let's do better than the '90s Knicks. I mean, at the end of the day, the '90s Knicks still didn't win.
But listen. They
didn't win the championship. Now they had consistency. I understand that, and they were always a very good team. But they didn't win.
Do you know how many times that team went to the playoffs? Like 15 straight years.
Tim, I just said that they were consistently good. But they were flirtatious about winning championships. But let's be better than that. Let's get to that. Let's get to the next level.
You say,
let's get to the next level over the night.
I get that. Okay, so what do you suggest? So then what do we do? So what style do we emulate? We're going to go emulate the Warriors? Do we have Warriors players?
I'm not.
So tell me then.
Why are you trying to make it seem like I'm
not trying to make it seem like anything. What I'm asking you,
saying we got to get you to tell me. Got to evolve.
I'm trying to get you to. So tell me what you want, because what we're saying is, looking at the players that we have, this is the style that you can play, because this is what we have on the team. So this is the style that you can play. You can't make this team. Hold up. Listen, you can't make this team play like somebody that they're not. I'm not saying that they are exactly. I'm not saying that they are exactly the '90s Knicks, but we have players that can bring that type of mentality to the team. You know what I'm saying? Do you evolve from there? Yes. You know what I mean? But why would you not want to bring that energy back to the Garden?
Taj Gibson?
Why would you not want to bring that energy back to the Garden? That energy. Have you ever? How long have you been in the Knicks? How old are you?
Why always look back when we can move forward?
How old
I understand taking bits and pieces from the past, but let's stop making. Listen, but you gotta don't act like all Knicks fans don't say let's go back to the '90s Knicks. Don't act like people don't say that, because people do say that. They say it all the time. And all I'm saying is we got to move forward from that. That's like I said before. That's like the Lakers going back to Showtime.
But sometimes,
the Bulls going back to the '90s Bulls, they can't do it.
But listen, sometimes you have to look backwards to move forwards. Sometimes you have to back up to move forward.
Bits and pieces of take bits and pieces of the past and apply it to the future. I'm saying that.
I don't understand.
I'm just saying let's move on from saying let's be the '90s Knicks.
Okay, so tell me what you want to do then. Tell me the style. Tell me your style. So because I don't want you to tell me.
I agree with you about being a team that plays defense and having ownership of the defense and sticking to your man and playing hard defense. I understand that. I want that. Every championship team is mostly based on. There's hardly been a lot of offensive teams that don't have any defense. Every great championship team has had defense. I'm not saying that.
So I'm asking you.
Let's get away from.
Okay, so listen to me. Let's get away from saying that we want to be the '90s Knicks.
Let's get away from that.
Isaiah, listen. What I'm saying to you, if you're telling me stop saying to play this style, then tell me what style to play. That's like coming to. There's a problem and you're complaining about the problem, but you don't have a solution. So what I'm saying to you, right, and this is people that I have working for me, I always tell them, don't complain, but don't have a solution to the problem. If you're going to complain about something, have a solution, or you're part of the problem. So what I'm saying to you is, you're saying to me and to other people to stop saying we got to play like the 90s Knicks or stop trying to play that style. So then you tell me the style.
I feel like you're missing the point of what I'm saying.
I'm saying to you,
I feel like you really are.
Style.
I'm saying throughout this whole time, I've agreed with you of saying I do want to play a certain style. I want to take bits and pieces from the past and apply it to the next future. And I'm saying let's go beyond the 90s Knicks. That's what I'm saying. I did not say let's not play defense. Let's not play hard, gritty defense. I did not say that. I said let's take bits and pieces of the past and evolve. That's like saying the Warriors wanted to go back to being Run TMC. No, they had a completely different style and they had their own lane.
Time out. Actually, they did. That's what they play, that style of basketball. The Warriors play that style. That's what they were back then.
The Run TMC style of.
They played Run TMC played an up-tempo, move the ball style of basketball. Up-tempo, move the ball,
defense.
swing the ball. Maybe
Warriors
they weren't good enough to win a championship, but that's the style that they played. That's what the Warriors play now.
The Warriors play defense,
move the ball.
The Warriors, the Warriors that won championships, their teams played defense. They were always top 10 in defensive rating. So let's add that to the five because the Run TMC teams did not play defense.
Hey, Isaiah, I'm about to let you go, but I'm going to say this. Obviously, you're not going to be exactly the same team. But if you play it, there's a style. There's a style of play, right? Teams have styles of play. So if you play this style of basketball, some are going to be better, some are not going to be as good. We're talking about styles. That's it. A style of play. The Warriors, back with Run TMC, they played that style of basketball. Almost the same style. Obviously, it evolved a little bit, but the same style. Run, move the ball, score quick. Right? Efficient shots. Quick, efficient shots. Smart plays. That's the style that they played back then. That's the style that the Warriors play now. They just got better players, and they do a little bit more, and yes, they play better defense. We'll talk about styles. You know what I'm saying? Talk about styles. That's all. Talk about styles of play. I can't, it's hard for me to understand why anybody would not want to bring back that type of tough mentality. We're not saying that that the New York Knicks have to be the 90s Knicks. That's not what anyone is saying. We're saying, can they have that type of style? Can they play with that mental toughness? You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't had it. We've been soft for years. Been soft for years. Ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings, we've been soft. Knicks family, what's popping? It's your boy. What's going on with you, caller?
What up, Sam? Smart.
Hey, what's going on with you, Mark? What's popping with you, bro?
Yo, bro, I don't know why you didn't bang it on Isaiah sooner because, boy, he was not understanding the question.
I don't know what Isaiah was talking about.
We have to emulate the style of the 90s Knicks, meaning playing tough, coming to the game defensively tough. We didn't say take the offense that the Knicks had in the 90s and bring it in. We're talking about defensively.
Exactly.
Tough, because we're in tops. We're in tops. And how could we go beyond that when we're nowhere close to that next team? How? He basically was saying what you were saying the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Isaiah was saying, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he was saying, I guess what he's trying to say is, let's not be the 90s Knicks because the 90s Knicks didn't win a championship. Let's go beyond that, I guess. But we'll talk about styles.
Beyond what? They made the finals
twice. They made the finals twice.
Oh, I wish I could make the finals in this decade. Cool.
That's what I'm saying.
I would like to emulate that team because when you look in history, all the teams played the same throughout the decade. From Golden State, even look at the Lakers from back then. Look at Detroit. Every team has a sense of style, and it plays out through the years. You can look at teams in each decade, how styles of play are damn near identical.
Right.
Damn near identical. The only thing changed with Golden State is that they became a top defensive team. But the style of play that they play, they always play up tempo. There was never a half court team ever.
Yeah.
I don't know why Isaiah's talking. I don't know what he wants because I would rather play tough for this season because we were soft last year, and you need to play. We need teams that are fairer, other than just coming up in the Garden and think they could just fly in the paint.
Right.
How we allowed them from years and years.
Right. Yeah. Nah, I agree with you 100%, Mark. So, Mark, I know you want to get something off your chest, man, and I apologize we don't have the video up, but tomorrow night I will because I'm going to be back on tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? Since I missed some time, I definitely want to get on tomorrow night. We'll have the video up. But I know you want to get some stuff off your chest, man. Mark, you still there? I must have lost Mark. Mark, call me back. Caller, you on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. I'm glad to be back. Definitely glad to be back.
Oh, that video, I can't wait to see the full video.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty dope video, man. The guy Ian from Distant Moon Media, he really did his thing out there. You know, we got to see just a couple of little clips. You know, you'll get. You know, I'm pretty sure it's gonna make the video. You know, Mark got a slow motion jump shot. He pulled up in the air, let it go, knocked it down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah.
So what's on your mind, bro?
No.
What's on your mind?
Not much. I agreed with you with the point against when you were talking to Isaiah about what we need, the identity of the Knicks, and definitely a defensive team is what that's what New York is. That's what when we won rings, we were a defensive team. When we tried to win rings, we were a defensive team. Almost got there. I mean, defense is the heart of New York. So, but I wanted to talk a little bit about a subject you brought up a few shows ago. I didn't get a chance to, if that's okay.
All right, go ahead. What's that?
When we were talking about, like the wins and losses and all that, and I haven't heard, even from, all the fake media and all that the Knicks are like, we're a deep team. And I think that depth is going to help us out when it gets to those back-to-backs and it gets to those, that deep part of the schedule. And I don't like. I was listening to CBS Sports. I think it was Tiki and Tierney, and they were talking about it too. How, a lot of teams in the East aren't that deep. I mean, they've got a lot of talent in the front line. When you get to that bench, it's not existent. I just wanted to see what you thought about that.
No, I do agree with you. When we get to those back-to-backs, and we got some tough back-to-backs this season, some of the, when you look at the Knicks schedule this season, there are some, tough back, especially early in the season. Well, most of them are early in the season where we have some real tough back-to-back games. And the Knicks are going to need some of that depth. To make sure that they can stay healthy and all those type of things, when it comes to those back-to-backs, and to be able to, go a little bit deeper in the bench. As a matter of fact, there's several occasions, several stints where the Knicks are going to play 4 games in 6 nights, and you're going to need some of that depth to make sure that, they can stay healthy during these stints, especially when you got guys like Dennis Smith Jr. who can be injury prone sometimes. And you got a couple of older guys on the team that maybe could use a night off or something like that. So, yeah, that depth will come in. That it will come in handy during those times. And if by some means, some way, we get into the playoffs, the depth will definitely come in handy. Even though in the playoffs you usually break down to have, you have a playoff rotation of 7 or 8, 9 not 7 or 8, but 9 players or something like that. Undoubtedly though, with the rough style, the tough style of playoff basketball, the half-court style of playoff basketball, you're gonna need that depth a little bit. Not a little bit. You're gonna need that depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm looking in the chat and I see E10 says we're not very deep. Too many young players. I disagree with you, E10. I disagree. I think we are pretty deep. Now, what we're missing is some of the all NBA players We don't have all NBA type players, but we're pretty deep. You know what I'm saying? We have 3 players deep at each position. Well, except for maybe center. You know, we have 1 true center on the team. That's Mitch Robinson. Then you got 2 guys that can play center. Both guys are better at playing 4, but Taj Gibson and Bobby Portis can both play center. You got 1 true center in Mitch Robinson, right? You got 3 deep at point guard in Elfrid Payton, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina. You got at least 3 deep at shooting guard in R.J. Barrett, Wayne Ellington, Damian Dotson, Alonzo Trier, so maybe that's 4 deep. You got 3 deep at the 3, right? Marcus Morris, Kevin Knox, Iggy. At the 4, you got Julius Randle, Taj Gibson. Then you got other guys that can step. Bobby Portis can play 4. At the 5 is Mitch Robinson. You can play some Bobby Portis at the 5. You can play some Taj Gibson at the 5. You know, I don't know who I left out. I left out somebody. Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock can play the 2, can play the 3. So, yeah, we're deep at every position. We got guys that can play rotation minutes. At least 2 deep. At least 2 deep of guys that can play rotation minutes on any team in the NBA. At least 2 deep, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Elfrid Payton,
totally
Dennis Smith Jr. can both play rotation minutes. R.J. Barrett, Wayne Ellington can both play rotation minutes. Marcus Morris, Kevin Knox can both play rotation minutes. Julius Randle, Bobby Portis can both play rotation minutes. Taj Gibson, Mitch Robinson can both play rotation minutes. That's 10 guys that can play rotation minutes on any team in this league, in my opinion. Right? In my opinion, 10 guys that can play rotation minutes on any team in this league. And then you got the other guys on the bench that could be bubble rotation players. You know, Wayne Ellington, Reggie Bullock, Alonzo Trier, Damian Dotson, Iggy, Frank Ntilikina. Bubble guys who one day could possibly, well, Wayne Ellington is kind of older, you know, but, you know, the other guys who one day could be rotation players. And Alonzo Trier is probably, you know, he's probably a rotation player on just about any team in the league too. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't understand that, E10, how you can say we're not deep. You know, yeah, big time, whoever that is, somebody just said Romeo Dredd, the deepest team in the league. Yeah, the deepest team in the league. We just don't have the all NBA players that you need to take you over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, real quick before I just real quick, I also agreed with you about not starting Mitch, only because if we're going to try to win, we've got a team full of veterans that we can go out there. And I mean, if you put out a lineup of, you know, Dennis Smith Jr., RJ, Marcus Morris, Randle and Portis, or Randle and Taj. Oh, I don't think Taj is going to start. But, you know, mix and match. Because, I mean, even Randle played a lot of 5, even last year and especially when he was with the Lakers. I mean, that's a solid starting lineup. And then you have those young guys who are just coming in and gunning, and that's what you want them to do. You want an RJ Barrett to go just attack the basket, get guys in foul trouble. Same thing with Trier. Same thing with, you know, Trier was getting a lot of foul calls, and he was going to the line a considerable amount last year. I mean, Knox, his shot looked, you know, in summer league it looked like it was wet for, you know, when he gets going. He can get going. And then, I mean, the guy like Wayne Ellington, everybody knows he's a shooter. He comes in off the bench. He gives you 10 minutes spot time. He hits 2 threes. I mean, and then I think we would do well letting the young guys actually see what winning basketball, or at least, you know, starting level NBA basketball from guys who are on solid teams go out there and show, against those guys, and then come in and like they had that picture of the 4 guys we got. They called them the dog pound, and I'd like to see those guys come. The young guys come in as a bench mob.
Yeah. Okay.
Like once the veterans get off the floor. I don't know many benches that are going to be able to deal with that kind of lineup. You have a lineup of, Elfrid Payton, Trier, Knox. You could put in Portis, Mitch, Iggy. You can throw him in. Dotson, you could throw him in when however the lineups or the matchups fit. That's a pretty decent bench.
Yeah.
One of the best in the league. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Bleacher Report. I saw how they had us overachieving over 28 wins. I got to agree with them on that.
All right.
I'll leave you guys with that, and thank you very much. And can't wait to see your video and what's up to the chat. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Definitely the deepest team in the league, man. In my opinion, we definitely had the deepest team in the league. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel or you just haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, post to my community section, whatever it is. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, make sure you get your opening night tickets. Make your deposits right now. We know when the date is already, October the 26th. There's less than 16 tickets remaining, so you better get it now if you're going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And I apologize, I don't have a video chat, but we're taking calls tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're basically doing all calls tonight. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, this is Big Mac from the Bronx. I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, my brother. I was interested in what you were saying earlier about the Knicks going back to the 90 Knicks.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying, and I think what you mean is to have the mindset of playing the tough defense. Of course, the game has evolved now as three-point shooting and centers aren't centers anymore. It's positionless basketball. I'm wondering what you're saying is, how would you want the Knicks to, what would the starting 5 be in your mind? Because basically, a lot of people have been saying stuff like Barrett at the shooting guard, Smith at the point, Randle at the 4, Knox at the 3, and Mr. Mitchell Robinson at the 5 center.
Yeah.
I don't think that particular lineup, is defensively the same as what you would get with some of the 90s Knicks. But I was thinking if you go back to something like the years when you had Red Holzman and they had the Minutemen, I don't know if that you go back that far, but what would if you had a second 5 where you could put like Frank and Dotson in the backcourt, defensive players, you could have maybe Smart at the 3, a defensive player. Randle could stay at the power forward, or maybe move Randle over to center and have Knox still playing at a small forward, or maybe because I think Marcus can either play the 4 or the 3. So that would be a little bit better defensive team. Now, how you mix in some of the other guys, because I think you want to put Trier in as far as instant offense. Now, he could replace, I guess, maybe Niakila. Frank doesn't shoot that well. But I also like this kid Payton, but I haven't seen that much of him.
Yeah, it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be hard. And Fizdale, to me, and this was one of the things when I started talking about Mitchell Robinson starting. One of my big things was I didn't like the fact that the job was just given to him. I don't care if he starts, if he just goes out and gets it and he takes it and he says, this is my spot. You know what I mean? I feel like with so many new players on the team, And maybe there's only one person on the team that you can say is a bona fide starter in the league that you know just about any team they're going to, they're going to be a starter. That's Julius Randle, right? Other than that, I think it's up in the air, and you got to look at, to me, you got to look at the way lineups work together. You know, you're not just going to throw your best five out there on the floor. I don't think, unless your best five works together very well, then yeah, you put your best five out there. But in a lot of teams, your best five doesn't always work together. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to put lineups together like a puzzle to make sure you got a good balance of defense and offense. Because you can't just put, in today's NBA, you can't just put a total defensive team on the floor. You can't do that.
No, that's
right. Because if you do that, you're going to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? If you just have a straight up defensive team on the floor. So you got to try to mix it up with having some offense and some defense. If you don't have five, you know, if your five starters are not all two-way players, then you got to try to mix it up. You know, that was one of the issues that the Knicks had last year. You had guys that were strictly offensive players, guys that were strictly defensive players, not that many two-way players on the team. Now, you know, maybe you have a better mix of guys that can play two ways. So, you know, who would I start? It's just hard for me to say right now because I just want to see them play. I want to see those 4 preseason games and watch them play and see how they work together on the floor. You know what I mean? I know everybody is putting Dennis Smith Jr. as a starting point guard right now. I'm not crossing off Elfrid Payton. And one of the big reasons I'm not crossing off Elfrid Payton as a starting point guard is because him and Julius Randle, they've played a year together already. So they have a little bit of chemistry. You know what I'm saying? That's going to mean something. You know, because that chemistry, if you got chemistry between those two guys, and then you can get 2 more guys on the floor that have some chemistry, and then they all start working together. You know, and you know, one of the big things that people say about Mitch Robinson starting is that he doesn't need the basketball. Obviously, he can, you know, he can block shots. He has the ability to switch out on guards, although he needs to stay on the floor. You know what I'm saying, and not go for pump fakes, which he'll learn how to do. You know, so you know that's one of the arguments about having Mitch out there on the floor because he can, you know, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. So if you have a guy like that, you know, who you would hope can kind of, when you have a guy that doesn't need the ball in his hands, can kind of mix with almost anybody, you know what I'm saying? Then if you have Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle that can work together, and then, you know, if you got your 3 and your 4 who can kind of interchange, or you know, your 2 and your 3, that can interchange. So it's going to be a tough call, but I wouldn't just give the job. I don't think you can just get a job to Dennis Smith Jr. right now. Elfrid Payton's going to have something to say about that. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons he chose to come to the Knicks is because he knew that position was up for grabs.
So to speak.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking right along with you because I'm not sure that Smith is all that. I mean, he's a talented player. He's got speed. He's got jumping ability. He's a super athlete. But team-wise, he's not a point guard. Now, Payton, like you were saying, is actually a point guard. And the fact that him and Randle played together in New Orleans, I think is a very positive thing. Mm-hmm. Now, if you played Barrett at the shooting guard along with Payton, you could still play Knox and you could still play Randle. But how much time would you start Robinson, or would you give Robinson, let's say, start him and then bring in someone else in his place after maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and then give him some time toward the end of the game where his defensive prowess would come in handy as far as keeping, you know, protecting the rim? Yeah. What do you think about that?
And see, I'm okay either way. People in the chat don't believe that I am, but I'm okay either way. If it were me, you know, I'd probably go a different way, and you know, see how he's progressing, and then maybe, if we get halfway through the year or maybe even next season, say, okay, it's yours now. You got it. It's your, it's your job. I'd give him another year to develop a little bit more, get a little bit stronger, because I think, once you become the full-time starter, last year there probably wasn't much game planning against the Knicks, because they were so bad. Teams didn't have the game plan against the Knicks. All right. This year there's going to be a lot more game planning, and I'm not sure that he has the basketball IQ yet to deal with that game planning. And people say, well, you got to throw him out there and let him learn. And I agree with that if you don't have anybody else that can kind of teach you. I think with this team, there's some players that can teach him a little bit. And I find nothing wrong with letting a guy, play a mentee role until he takes the position over. But if he starts, I don't mind him starting either. You know what I'm saying? Because if he does start, you still do have those guys like a Taj Gibson that can help walk him through different things that might be happening as he's starting. You know what I'm saying? So he's starting, he starts off and maybe he sees something he hasn't seen before. He comes to the bench and Taj Gibson's like, okay, they're doing this. Try this, try that, young fella, try that. You know what I'm saying? He go back out on the floor and then he tries that, and I mean, I've seen players, grab a clipboard and show other players, hey, younger players, hey, this is what, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? So he does have that cushion. If he's the starter, he has that cushion of guys behind him so that if he's messing up, it won't be that devastating. Because it's that much more devastating when you're a young player, you're the starter, and then everything is depending on you. You know what I'm saying? And when you mess up, it's that much more devastating. It doesn't have to be that now. So if he is the starter and he messes up, you got guys that can come in and maybe erase some of the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? If there's any. So, it's okay that way as well. You know what I mean? Either way, as long as he's getting 25 to 30 minutes a night, I'm cool.
Do you think he deserves that many minutes? I mean, you have to give Porter some time. You have to give maybe Julius some times at the 5. My thing is, what are you going to do as far as Barrett? I thought Barrett was a forward. Are you going to play him entirely at guard, or are you going to kind of like make him a swing guy?
I mean, I think, I guess, again, I think it's going to go back to looking at the lineups and seeing how people fit in. I think that RJ Barrett's going to be able to play the 1, the 2, and the 3 sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think, he's going to be and we got a few players on the team that are going to be able to, go to different positions. Elfrid Payton and Dennis Smith Jr., they could both play the 1 or the 2. Frank, we'll see where he fits in and how he gets playing time, but he can go to 1 and 2 to 3. RJ Barrett can do the 1 and 2 to 3. Kevin Knox could probably do the 3 and the 4. Not probably. He can do the 3 and the 4. Maybe the 4, maybe he gets bounced around a little bit playing that 4 position, but he can do the 3 and the 4. So there's a lot of guys on the team that can play that can be interchangeable. You know what I mean? Right. So I think RJ Barrett is going to be an interchangeable player, and get to get to move around a bit on the floor. Which is it's a good thing. You know what I mean?
No, I don't really.
You can picture a lineup, right? You can picture a lineup where you have, what RJ Barrett's 6'7", 6'8". You have a RJ Barrett, and you have a Frank Ntilikina on the floor at the 1 and the 2. Shooting would be putrid, but I'm just I'm just speaking hypothetically right now. Where you had a Frank Ntilikina, RJ Barrett, and then at the 3 you still had a Kevin Knox maybe on the floor, or Marcus Morris, Julius Randle. I mean, you could be super long. You know what I mean? So that's how interchangeable this squad can be, man.
All right, listen, I don't want to dominate the time on your show, but I am interested in a couple of things your callers have said, and you have said yourself. What do you think the maximum amount of wins for the Knicks are? My opinion, they won 17 last year. I think they can get to maybe 30, maximum 35. I mean, unless for some reason everything just some other teams just started falling apart, and we just started playing this outrageous basketball. What is Coach Fizdale? Is he a defensive coach, offensive coach, or he's a bit of both? Because are the Knicks going to go back to being kind of a defensive team with a stronger offense, or are they going to be just an offensive team and occasionally throw in the Franks and the Taj Gibsons and maybe Portis and try to get the defense out of them? What's your opinion on that? So I guess we could start with how many wins do you think they're going to get this year, and then secondly, how many players do you think are going to be involved in the defensive part of it?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to be somewhere between 30 and 35 wins. That's what I think. And to me, that's very good. If you get 30 wins, you've won 13 more games. I mean, you increase your win total by 13 over the previous year. Absolutely. You get 35 games, you doubled your win total, right? That's okay for me, and that's the way a team builds, I think. You can't expect in football. You might go from worst to first. It's like that in football. And basketball is different. It's very hard to go from worst to first in basketball. I guess it could happen, but it's very hard, I think, to go from worst to first. So I think the Knicks will be somewhere between 30 and 35 wins. And then the next year, we take another step forward. You know what I mean? And then continue to take those steps forward.
Well, you have said on a couple of occasions that you think that Frank is a good player and he needs to progress. He needs to earn his time. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't agree with you more. My one concern about the Knicks in the past has been they've given up on so many guys, and guys that were on the team went on to be stars on other teams. And we've picked some guys that were injury prone when we got them, and they just didn't pan out, notably like McNeese. My thing is, I'd like to see some of these guys stick around, the Triers, the Franks, the Smiths, and find some veteran players to go with them so they can develop, and then we move on from some of the older guys. I mean, I'm not even familiar with Ellington. I know he got a track record for being a good three-point shooter. I'm not sure what kind of total game he has, though.
Yeah,
but if he can help, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think those older guys that are here, that's what they're here for. It gives, and I'm gonna answer this and I'm gonna let you go, okay? So we can get some other guys in on the call.
No problem.
But I think that having the older guys that we have this year, and look, we have Taj Gibson's 34. I think Wayne Ellington is 31 or 32 years old. After that, I'm not sure who else we have that's in our 30s, but you have some young vets out there, and then you have some older vets out there. But it gives our young guys like Frank Ntilikina a little bit more cushion and a little bit more time to learn and grow and develop. You know what I mean? Of course, they got to play, but you can't just throw them out there and say you're going to play just because you're Frank Ntilikina. You know what I mean? You got to earn it. You got to come up through the ranks. You got to bump through it through practice so that you can get on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But obviously you got to play a little bit in order to develop. You know what I mean? But that's what these guys are here for. You increase the competition level. You want your young guys playing against the best competition possible day in and day out. That's how they develop. That's how they get better. They get on the floor and they play. And they put those skills to use. They put it on the floor. You know what I mean? And then when their time comes, they get their minutes. See, last year, the year before, guys like Frank, Kevin Knox last year, it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna throw you guys out there. And I don't have any problem with throwing guys out there and just letting them play through the fire. When you have nothing else, you let them go out there and play through the fire. But if you can find a way to mentor some of the guys, get them, help them build their confidence, and then throw them out there, that's what you do. So it could help Frank in the long run, but some of the other guys that's young that's on the team, Alonzo Trey and these guys, having some of these older guys here for a year or two, to help groom them, and then then they take over the spot. That's how it happened. You remember when Allen Houston was signed, right? When Allen Houston was signed, John Starks was still the starter, but then slowly but surely, Allen Houston took over the role, if I remember correctly.
I believe you're right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's, Allen Houston was younger. John Starks was a little bit older. Starks was a little more battle-tested. You know what I'm saying? Right. Allen Houston, even though he was a starter at Detroit, he came off the bench. Then he earned his minutes. Then he took over the spot. That's how it goes. So, we'll see and I think that's what they're building with the team that they put together now. You can be competitive with some of the older guys that can teach these young guys how to win. You can be competitive in games. You can be competitive in practice. And then when the time comes, these young guys can step into their spots. But these young guys got to earn it to step into their spots too, man. But, hey, I appreciate the call, man.
My pleasure. And I look forward to hearing your show again. And maybe I'll be a part again in the near future.
No doubt.
You have a blessed day, man.
All right.
Go Knicks.
Later. And, the one thing I wanted to answer is about David Fizdale. The question was, what is his style? I'm not sure. I did see someone in the chat say that David Fizdale's style is an attacking style. But, I'm just not sure what his style is yet. We can't tell anything from last season, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Last season it is what it is, man. We know what it was. We all witnessed it. We watched it. We witnessed it. So I can't tell what his style is. I'm hoping that he is the kind of player, the kind of coach that wants to have a defensive monster that will attack you on offense. And you got to add some shooting in there, though. You can't win in today's NBA without shooting. The biggest thing to me is that we play that defense. And that's why I bring up that 90s style Knicks. That's the biggest thing to me is that we play defense. Play that defense. And I want to see him hold the guys accountable. I want to see him hold guys accountable. And maybe you can't do it today. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a different NBA with different players. A lot of the players in today's NBA have been coddled. They've been coddled with guys back in the day in the 90s. And maybe that's a reason why you can't really emulate those 90s type teams, because the players are just different. Guys in the 90s, man, they weren't coddled the way that players are today. Guys that played in the 90s, they didn't come up with the same type of AAU system, in my opinion. And I think the AAU system, plays a big role into the way guys are today. Players are today. Back in them days, back in those days, you could have a Pat Riley that was really, really, really strict, would hold guys accountable. Seriously hold guys accountable. I mean, Pat Riley would fine you. You got a fine if you helped another player up off the floor from the opposing team. You would get a fine for that. That was the NBA back then. It's not going to be the same NBA today. But I want to see Fizdale hold these guys accountable. And if they cry and whine, well, oh well. So yeah, it might be a little bit tougher because these guys, like I said, they've been coddled. They come up through these AAU ranks, and because coaches in AAU basketball don't really want to coach. They want to win. They want to put the best team. They want to get a collection of really good players and put them out there on the floor and then pretend like they're coaching. Really, they're just sitting back and letting the guys hoop. Some of your good AAU programs really do put in good systems and teach guys fundamentals. But here's the thing. Back a long time ago, early 90s, whatever, when AAU was really, for basketball, was really, really starting to take off and get big, coaches just brought in players. It didn't matter your skill set or how good you could play or how long you played. They just brought in players. and they start teaching and training, developing, helping players to develop, and they put you on a team where you could play at your level. Right? Then you go out and compete at your level. And if you advanced and got better, you can move up to a better team. There's still some programs like that, but most programs are just trying to slap players together. They're not really teaching the game. They're not teaching character. And if you got a really, really good player, that player gets a carte blanche. He may not have to pay the team fee, get free sneakers, don't have to pay the hotel fee, all that kind of stuff. So they get carte blanche because you need that player on your team so you can win. And now that whole thing is moved into the NBA. Except in the NBA, see, on the AAU team, you got 1 or 2 players who get carte blanche. Well, in the NBA, all these guys are used to getting carte blanche everywhere that they've gone. Every team that they've played on, they're used to getting carte blanche. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Most of them. 70 to 75% of them are used to getting carte blanche. So now they come in the NBA and they want that same treatment. So, they have their issues with coaches and all this wild stuff. So it's a little bit tougher. But I still want to see Coach Fizdale hold these guys accountable. What's his style of play? I don't know. But I want to know his style of coaching. I want his style of coaching to be hard and tough. Hold these guys accountable for their actions on the floor and off the floor. It's like I said, it was hard last season. So this is the season where, we had a big argument. Not a big argument, but people were like, when I said, is the clock ticking for Fizdale? People were like, geez, it's only his second year. But what I mean by that is you got some NBA level talent now. So now we start to evaluate you. Last year, we didn't need to evaluate them. You seen what was going down. This year, we're going to start that evaluation process because you got to start building something now, in my opinion. Got some players. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
I'm back, Sam. I'm back.
What's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. Just waiting on you to get me back up in the show.
So listen, Mark, man. I know you wanted to get something off your chest. You told me earlier today you had to get something off your chest, man. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and get that off your chest real quick.
Like it ain't crazy. It was just funny, like how you edit the video and had that little cameo with Tony Crow and Guamo. Why Guamo gotta be the grumpy old man all the time? That's what I want to know. Huh, sir?
I don't know, man.
Answer me that.
Yo,
why can I not enjoy being videoed for the day and just being myself, which I was?
Yo,
why did I gotta hear that? I know I was going mad hard. I was actually calm and natural in front of the cameras. I was surprised with myself.
You was good. You were calm. You were definitely calm for the camera. But it was funny though. You gotta admit, Mark, it was funny. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony was saying, you were like, yo, I think I'm gonna go to Los Angeles and just do a couple of auditions. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, Mark, you're not gonna take no classes, nothing. You're like, nah, I'm a natural. It's like,
bro,
I mean, that was funny, Mark. Come on, man.
Within the moment.
Huh?
I said that is sarcasm within the moment while I'm being videoed.
No, I'm just saying it was. I mean, he was just joking. It was all jokes, man. It was all jokes.
Yeah, I was joking, Mo. But Guamo, you don't need to be such a grumpy old man when you come on the chat, man. I know you was coming off work that night a little miserable. But listen, bro, it's okay, man. I had a great time. I hope they get my little cameo that video that we might get early.
Yo, yeah, you know, I think they will. It's gonna listen. We was out there, folks. No, we was out there, huh?
I think they're gonna put that because when he asked me to shoot that and then showed me that, I said, "Nah, there's no way you keep that out."
He's gonna put it in there.
That was perfect.
He's gonna put it in there. I'm pretty sure.
Perfect. But that was fun. I ain't gonna hold you. I enjoyed myself, bro. I should have came with you after the Garden.
Yeah, you should have.
I should have.
I mean, because we didn't leave the Garden until about 11:30.
That was like about 10. That was like 11:30.
11:30. So we.
Damn.
So we went. So we left the court. After we left the court, we went to the Garden. We shot some video till about 9, and then me, Tony, Guillermo, we grabbed something to eat, and then we shot a couple videos. So yeah, we didn't leave till like 11:30. Me and Tony, we took the train back to the Bronx, and from there, I got on the GW. See, I got on the GW.
You probably didn't get home till like 5.
I got on GW. Yeah, I got on GW about 12:30, and I got to Baltimore because I stayed in Baltimore. I got to Baltimore like 4 a.m. I had to be up early the next morning.
Bro, I got home. I took a shower and I dropped dead. Yo, I was exhausted because again, I haven't played ball in so long, so I didn't have I didn't have my chest was beating hard. I'm not used to that activity like that. So that's next time I'll be more hype on the court.
Okay. Well, you have to get in shape, man. We're gonna get us a little squad, man. Guillermo said, wait till he gets healed up. You know what I'm saying?
Why he shouldn't flex for? No one asked him for that.
So, we're going to have to get us a little squad of like 7, 8 players, and get some games. We might have to do a little tryout, get 7, 8 players out there and then go out there and hoop against somebody.
Yeah, just don't invite Isaiah, please.
Huh?
I said, just don't invite Isaiah.
Yo, Isaiah can, he can come rock with us. I don't know if we're going to put him on the court, but,
I ain't gonna front him. When I was watching that video this morning, when I seen you pull it up, someone in the comments said that there was a part where they were showing you like looking up at the Garden. It was like OG sucking up the energy from the Garden right now.
No doubt. I know, but that's what's crazy. I mean, I thought about not putting that one in there because it looked kind of crazy, but I said forget it. I'm just putting it in there.
That instrumental that you had, the beat that you have with it was perfect with the energy draining. The way you was looking.
Yeah, my man Evergreen G6, he made that beat. It's pretty dope.
So, yeah,
the video is gonna be fly, man. It's gonna be
fly, man. I hope everybody go underneath those people comment, because I'll be reading and laughing at the same time, because y'all funny underneath the comments. I wish it was a little more toxic underneath there, but, they do a good job underneath the comments. But just keep up the comments, man. And, Sen, thanks for the opportunity, because I didn't know it was for that company. They got me extra hype.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, we looking forward to doing some more, you know what I'm saying? Looking forward to doing some more.
In, man.
So, it's gonna be pretty tight.
I hope they add a little humor, like even with when you had that little interview the first 2 hours of the day. Hope they put like a little humor in it, like some of the B-roll when we was walking down the street to the
yeah. I don't know if it's gonna add that much. If there's gonna be that much humor to it, because
that would be some good content, man.
Yeah, I don't know if the company, and we're not gonna mention the company right now, but I don't know if the company, wants it to be humorous. They want it to be, they want it to tell a story. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I understand.
But I think we did a good job. That's why when they were sitting down and they were capturing us talking about basketball. Yeah. Playground basketball, New York City basketball, stuff like that. What it means to the city, what it means to us. That's why they were getting that, because he's trying to capture as much as possible so he can, when he puts the video together, he can tell that story. You know, so it's gonna be mean, man. It's gonna be a mean video.
I'm gonna let you get out of here. So thank you again, man. You already know, you know.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I appreciate you, man.
Holla back, y'all.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you smash that like button. Right now, we got three. Let me see. We got 296 people in here. So if everybody hits that thumbs up, we should have 296 thumbs up. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button right now. You know what I mean? Hit that thumbs up button. I mean, you know, if everybody hits it, we should have at least 296. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Let's get 296 thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel right now. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post to my comment section. And make sure you put your down payment, your deposit down for those opening night tickets. It's only there's less than 16 tickets remaining. So you might as well get them now, get it done. And by next week, I should have the final price. So pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Check your emails. I'll probably send you an email tomorrow to just remind you that you'll be getting an invoice pretty soon so that you can pay the remainder of your ticket. You know what I mean? October 26th is coming fast. It's coming fast. You know what I mean? But I'm going to get back to my conversation about Coach Fizdale. Because I'm still not sure his style of play, though. I know I said what I want it to be, but I'm not sure what his exact style of play is. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I think that he wants to be an up-tempo, attacking type of team. But you also got to be able to adjust to the players that you have. You know, and if you don't got guys that can attack, then you may need to do something different. Remember, Fizdale is still a very young coach, ladies and gentlemen. He's still a very young coach. Fizdale, his first head coaching gig was with the Memphis Grizzlies, where he coached, what was it? Half a season or something like that, a little more than half a season, whatever it was. Obviously, he was an assistant coach with the Miami Heat. But as a head coach, he hasn't been a head coach for that long. So he is still learning. He's still learning. And, you know, the question is going to be, when we do finally become a good team, and if Fizdale is the coach and we become a good team, is Fizdale going to be the guy that can get us over the top? The type of system that he puts in, the type of system that he implements, I think it'll tell us a lot. And then the adjustment that he makes. You know, during the season, it's hard to see the adjustments. You know, you can see some in game, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Making adjustments during the game is very, very hard, right? It's difficult to make adjustments during the game. It's difficult to see those adjustments during the game. That's one reason why assistant coaches are so important. When you're a head coach and you're watching the game and you're trying to make adjustments on the fly, you're trying to grab players to pull into the game, you're trying to manage the game, it's hard to see those adjustments. So your assistant coaches really need to be looking and paying attention for adjustments to help you make certain adjustments, and then come to you and say, hey, I see this, and this. Sometimes a head coach is only as good as his assistants or her assistants. Your assistant coaches are so important in making those adjustments. But you know, when you really see adjustments, when you play a team twice, 3 times. That's when you start to see the adjustments. That's why I do value when we play a team back to back. I value that because you can kind of emulate playoff basketball. You know, the team did one thing in game number 1, which was played on Wednesday, and then we play them again on Friday. Here's the adjustments I'm going to make. You know, so those type of, when you play a team, you know, back to back, those type of that helps you. That really does help a team. And that's where we can see if the Knicks don't make the playoffs, which chances are they may not make the playoffs. You know, if we have some of those games, and looking back at the schedule, I don't remember the Knicks playing anybody back to back. But those type of adjustments, that's where you can see what Fizdale can do. You know, in the meantime, we're going to have to be satisfied with trying to see his adjustments within the game. But you know, Fizdale is still growing as a coach. Still growing as a coach. Still learning. And we're going to see him continue to grow. We're watching his growth at the same time we're watching the team's growth, you know? When we do reach that point, the question is, will Fizdale be able to take us over the top? We've seen it with Mark Jackson and the Warriors. Mark Jackson built that team. I don't care what nobody says. You can say whatever you want. Mark Jackson built that team. Mark Jackson implemented the structure. Mark Jackson helped to implement the character. Mark Jackson provided the discipline. When Steve Kerr came, he loosened the reins just a little bit. Then he implemented a better offense, I'll say. I'm pretty sure that. I'll agree with that. He implemented a better offense, and then that got him over the top. But Mark Jackson is so instrumental in that Warriors team being what it is today. The question will always remain, would Mark Jackson have been able to get that team to the finals? Would Mark Jackson have been able to lead that team to a championship? We don't know. We'll never know the answer to that question. Never know the answer to that question. You know, that's going to be the same. That's going to be like Fizdale. You know, Fizdale is going to have his handprint on his team when they become good. Will he be able to get them over the top when that happens? I don't know. You know, I don't know. We'll see what kind of style. We'll see what his style is this season. We'll see what his style is. Somebody asked, Slick Nick said, Mark coached, but did he have input in drafting? I don't know if he had input in drafting. That's a good question. I don't know. When I say built the team, I don't mean built the team as far as bringing in the talent. I mean built the team as far as building the structure, building the system, and those type of things. That's what I mean. You know, that's what I mean. Mark Saul said, these players like Fizz, same way Warriors like Jackson. Okay, that's a good comparison. I'm with you there. I believe that. I believe that. You know, so, you know, the jury is still out on Coach Fizdale, in my opinion. The jury is still out. He has a lot to learn, and we have a lot to learn. And the team has a lot to learn about themselves. A lot to learn about themselves. You know. Now, I have one more question that I want to ask. And I am going to take a couple more phone calls so you can call on. You can call in 516-405-2246. And I already have a video in hand, but I'm going to ask you guys anyway. I have a video in hand from Guillermo and Tony Crow, but I want to ask you guys. Do you think that Julius Randle is ready to be the leader of this team? Is he that guy? And I'm not exactly sure if that's the exact question that I asked Guillermo and Tony Crow. You know, but we were talking about Julius Randle. You know, and the question was not whether or not he can be, if he can elevate his game to be a superstar. We've been over that, but is he ready to be the leader of the team? That's different than being a superstar, because he's going to be looked at, whether or not players are your best player isn't always your leader, but they're always looked at as the leader. You know, Carmelo Anthony wasn't really that type of a leader, but because he was the star, he was looked at as the leader. That's not what I'm asking about Julius Randle. I'm not asking you whether or not Julius Randle is going to be the best player. I think he's going to be the best player. I seen a question out there, maybe it was Clutch Points, who said, you know, who's going to be the leading scorer. I don't think there's a question on whether or not Randle, who's going to be the leading scorer of the Knicks. It's going to be Julius Randle, in my opinion. Right? So my question, though, is Julius Randle ready to handle the role that he's going to have? He has a big role. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be his first time. When he was on the Lakers, he didn't have that role. Kobe was there. And Kobe was one of those guys that could be your best player and a leader. When he went to the Pelicans, I don't know how much of a leader Anthony Davis was, but he was the guy who was looked at as the leader. Like I said, your best player is not always your leader, but your best player is always looked at as the leader. Does he have, Mark Saw said he hasn't played a game yet. But dude, I'm not even talking about playing the game. I'm talking about something a little bit different, right? I'm talking about the leadership ability. Does he have the leadership ability? I believe he can elevate his game. I do. I believe he can elevate his game. But is he going to be the guy that everyone looks to? Not just for scoring, but looks to as the leader. And maybe I'm not explaining myself good enough. I don't know. Chen says Morris is a great leader. Yeah, he might be. And so, Chen, I think you get what I'm saying. Mark Sauce says make him work for that title. I get what you're saying. And I think he has to. I think Julius Randle has to come in and be the hardest worker. He has to, be vocal, not be afraid to speak up. Not be afraid to, take the mantle. Not be afraid to take the mantle. And that's not easy for someone who's never had to do it. He's never had to do it before, so it's going to be a new experience. It's almost the same way with Tim Hardaway Jr. when Tim Hardaway Jr. came to the Knicks. Now, I'm not saying that they're the same player, but it's Tim Hardaway came to the Knicks, and the Knicks got Tim Hardaway on they thought that they were getting Tim Hardaway on a contract that was going to, where Tim Hardaway was going to outplay that contract. That's what the Knicks thought. That's what Steve Mills was thinking about when he signed Tim Hardaway Jr., right? That Tim Hardaway eventually was going to outplay his contract. I think the Knicks are looking at Julius Randle the same way, that he will outplay his contract. I kind of feel like Julius Randle will. But when Tim Hardaway came to the team, he had never been in that role, and I don't think he handled it very well. He had never been the man by himself on a team. He had never been the guy that people look at to say, you're the leader. Whether or not you had leadership characteristics. It didn't matter if Tim Hardaway had those leadership characteristics. We asked this same question about Tim Hardaway last year, whenever it was. Didn't matter. That's who people are looking at. Because that's who was considered the best player on the team. Julius Randle is in that same situation. Very, very similar situation. Stop Video says, I think leadership-wise, Taj wins. I would agree with you there. And hopefully Taj can impart some things on Julius Randle. But nonetheless, people are going to look at Julius Randle and say that's the leader of the team, whether or not he has those leadership characteristics. So I'm interested to see how Julius Randle handles this whole situation. It's going to be new for him. It's definitely going to be new for Julius Randle. think he's going to be able to handle it, though. I really do. I think he's going to be able to handle it. Dark Matter RI7 said, Tim handled it great. The team was bums. The team was definitely bums. I don't know if Tim Hardaway handled it great. Tim Hardaway was a crybaby. He was a crybaby, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head out for the night, man. I'm glad you guys joined me. I will be back on tomorrow night. I have the video chat back up so we can make sure we get guys in video chat. Nonetheless, we had a lot of good callers, a lot of good conversations. You know, and it was good. But I'm heading out for the night. I'm gonna get some more rest. I'm still a little bit tired from the whole video shoot and the travel. I mean, listen, man, and some of you guys may have seen the post. Friday night, this is the weekend that passed. Last Friday, I drove to Norfolk. That's 3 hours south of me. 3 hours south of me. I drove to Norfolk. Then I spent Saturday at a basketball camp. I didn't have to do anything. I just watched. My daughter was at a basketball camp, Norfolk State University. Stayed there till 4:30. At 4:30, we left. I got back into D.C. about 8 o'clock. About 8:30, I turned back around and I drive to Albany. Stayed there. I got to Albany about 3 o'clock in the morning. Woke up about 10 o'clock. Went and got my hair cut. We had a little cookout. Went to bed about 1. Got up at 6:30. Drove to the Bronx. Got to the Bronx Monday. Started shooting at 11. Finished up at, realistically, we finished up about 11:30. Because after I shot with Distant Moon Media, I did some shooting for NBK. And then I drove to Baltimore. So I'm still a little bit tired. You know what I'm saying? Still a little bit tired. So look, I'm heading off tonight. Heading off. And I am going to catch you guys tomorrow night. We'll be back on. We'll have some topics to talk about. You know what I mean? If you have some topics you want to talk about, leave it in the comments. And we'll make sure we get to those topics. Okay? You know what I mean? So, leave those topics in the comments. All right? I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, post to my community section. Smash that like button. Hit that button, man. You know what I'm saying? The more likes, the more we pump it up. Go check out the video, Tony and Guillermo talking about the 90s Knicks. Check out the promo for the video shoot that we did. And by all means, make sure that you put your down payment for your opening night tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, I will catch y'all tomorrow night. I'm out of here.